Welcome to day 15 of our Ghost Host Halloween countdown here in the lab, counting down films that feature real-life horror hosts, TV shows as well, that feature real-life horror hosts in the cast. Yesterday we looked at a TV episode, a TV series, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It had Alfred Hitchcock as the host. He was a horror host. A lot of those films were straight up horror, and of course everybody's getting murdered left and right. Yeah, murder almost every week. So if somebody getting killed ain't horror, I don't know what is. All right. Tonight we're going to look at a more modern entry. This is a made-for-TV movie that features a horror host tie-in of a more modern host, and that is The Stand. This 1994 TV miniseries is an adaptation of the 1978 Stephen King novel. In it, a genetically mutated strain of the flu called Captain Trips is accidentally released in a lab located on a military base. A lockdown is ordered, but an infected soldier escapes from the base and flees cross-country with his wife and daughter. He eventually crashes his car into a gas station in Arnett, Texas. The man's wife and daughter are already dead from the disease, and the soldier dies almost immediately after crashing. The next day, Deputy Joe Bob Brentwood arrives to investigate the wreck, but it's already too late. The military moves in to quarantine the area, but Captain Trips is on the loose, and it begins to tear through humanity, leaving only a handful of survivors behind and setting up an epic showdown between the forces of good and evil. The Stand was directed by Mick Garris and aired on ABC in 1994. It was released in 4 90-minute episodes on 4 consecutive nights in May 1994. The deputy who shows up to investigate is played by actor John Bloom, better known to most people as TV horror host Joe Bob Briggs. Joe Bob was a syndicated film critic and cable TV horror host at the time. Host of Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater on the Movie Channel. He hosted that show from 1986 to 1996. He would go on to host TNT's Monster Vision from 1996 to 2000 on TNT, and is currently hosting The Last Drive-In on Shudder, which began in 2018. The character of Joe Bob Briggs is an unapologetic redneck Texan with a passion for drive-in theaters. Joe Bob presents his take on B-movies and cult classics, which he lovingly refers to as drive-in movies, reviewing them with a rating of 3 Bs, blood, breasts, and beasts, and featuring a running countdown of the exploitation elements upcoming in each movie in the opening segment. Now, Joe Bob's part in The Stand is a minor one, but I mentioned it as it's one of the better films he's appeared in. He also played a small part in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but his scene was cut out of the final print. He also appeared in some big-budget non-horror films such as Casino and Face Off, as well as a number of independent micro-budget films shot on video. So that's The Stand, based on the Stephen King book. How cool is it that they put Joe Bob in that neat little cameo there? He does a good job with it, and I enjoyed that film overall a lot, the TV series. I remember watching it on TV when it first came out. I thought they did a good job. You know, I'm not a huge Mick Garris fan, but I think of Mick's work, this is the best thing that he's done. So I will give it, let's say, a solid, let's go 3.5 skulls. I think it's pretty good all the way through, pretty even. Gotta love that they put Joe Bob in there though. That's my favorite thing about it. All right guys, so 3.5 skulls for The Stand. What do you guys think about this movie? Are you a fan of it? This made for TV series. Haven't seen the remakes, the other version. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other versions of The Stand that have been done, but I haven't seen those, so I should probably check them out. All right, join me back here tomorrow night. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that and hit that bell icon so you'll get a notification tomorrow when one of these comes up. Every day this month, tune back in. I'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Stay mad.
4 stars, Joe Bob says. Check it out. I'd give it 5 stars if I could.